You're having a wonderful day so far, and today we'll be doing something a little bit different. I'll be showing you how to properly wash reptile mats. Those reptile mats that they usually use for snakes or bearded dragons or leopard geckos. I could find no good tutorials on how to properly wash reptile mats. So in this video I'll be showing you so that you can do it easily without a struggle like me, especially if you're a beginner reptile owner. You might not know how to wash them, and Google it and you'll find no videos, maybe besides this one now, but I googled it. There isn't really any good information that I could find. There is probably somewhere out there, but I couldn't find it, so I struggled in the beginning and had to call the pet shop to ask them how to do it. But now that I know how to do it, I'll be showing you guys so you don't have the same struggle as I do. So yeah, it's pretty easy to do. So first you're going to get a container. Any container will work as long as the mats will fit. Now the container can be any container really. I'll show you now the container I'm using. Then fill it up with nice warm tap water. You don't want to use boiling water, because boiling water will shrink your mats. The first mat I tried to wash, because I couldn't find any good tutorials, and I used boiling water and my mat shrunk. So it shrunk so much that it couldn't fit in the enclosure anymore. It was too small. There was gaps all around it. So now don't use boiling water, just use quite hot water. Just like it should be uncomfortable to touch, but it shouldn't burn you. It should just be uncomfortable to touch. That's about how warm the water should be. Then you can use just a few drops, maybe a half teaspoon of Dawn dish soap, or where I'm from I don't have Dawn dish soap because I'm in South Africa, so I use Sunlight liquid dish soap. But you can use Sunlight liquid or Dawn dish soap. As far as I know, both of those are reptile safe if you use them in the right amount. So let me show you the right amount. Then you want to leave your reptile mat in the water to soak with the Sunlight liquid, of course, or Dawn dish soap, doesn't matter. You want to leave it in the water for about 15 to 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, then you can take it out and take a brush, like a soft bristle brush. Like you can also take an old toothbrush or a new toothbrush. Just make sure it's quite soft. It shouldn't be very hard, otherwise it might damage your mats. So then you rub in circular motions all throughout the mat. After that you can rinse the mat with just clean tap water. Once it's rinsed, you can just hang it up to dry. So let me show you how I do this. Let me show you real quick. Okay, so as you can see here, I have a container with water and I'm just using this crate. Anything can really work, a bucket. Just make sure it's clean. You don't want to use a bucket that was standing outside and has germs and bacteria on. And this water isn't boiling, like I can touch it, but it is uncomfortable to keep your hand in there for a long-ish amount of time. But you can like touch it. Like I would not be able to do that if it was boiling. Now this is the dish soap I'll be using, Sunlight liquid. It is reptile safe, and for about 7 months I've been using this for my ball python, and she is still a happy healthy snake. So if you use Dawn dish soap or this, I don't know about any other brands that are reptile safe, but this or Dawn dish soap will work just fine for your reptiles. Now I just have a spoon here to stir the water, because like I said, it's uncomfortable to touch, so I don't want to put my hand in there too much to stir it. Now you'll just throw a few drops in, just basically like this, not a lot, just a bit. And now you can start. I might add a bit more than that, but yeah, I'm gonna add a bit more than that. And yeah, let me quickly add more. Just a bit more. Just like that. Okay, that should be enough. You can measure it. Throw in about a half teaspoon for every, I'd say, every 10 liters. Throw in about a half teaspoon or a teaspoon of Dawn dish soap. If you rinse it out properly, it will not harm your reptiles. And a lot of people, if they bath or soak their reptiles, they will put Dawn dish soap in. A lot of people say that's also how to get rid of mites, because the mites slide out of the scales easier when the dish soap is on, and it's slippery if you put your snake in a bath. But we're not going to be doing that today, because my snake does not have mites. So let me quickly get my dirty mats and we'll put them in here. Oh yeah, and if you have a larger collection of reptiles, I'm just using this and this mat. If you have a larger collection of reptiles, you can put the mats together and wash them in the same container, as long as the container is big enough. And this mat I just put on the heating pad. I did this before I had the thermostat, to just make sure the heating pad doesn't overheat, because not so much heat will radiate through both of these than just the single one. It's because it's kind of thin. This one is a bit more thick. So I'll be putting in both of them. I'll first be putting in this one and making sure it goes down like this. You can just press it a bit in like this if you want. You don't have to, you can just let it soak for now. I'm just pressing it a bit, like just with the spoon. This is not necessary, I'm just doing it to make sure all the bubbles and stuff are out. Okay, now that should be fine. Next mat, this one I'll just put like this, because if I put this side down, it makes black or kind of brownish, dark brown marks on my container, because it's a clear container. And these mats are kind of hard when they are not warm, if they are cold, but if they are warm, they'll be way more flexible. So let me just quickly put this one in. I'm just using the spoon here because I don't want to put my hands in here for too long, because it's quite uncomfortable, the heat of it. Now, yeah, that's fine, like that. And at this point you can do nothing but wait. About 15 to 20 minutes should be more than long enough to kill any germs. So I'm gonna wait 15 to 20 minutes now. And once 15 to 20 minutes is over, then I'll show you the rest of the process of cleaning them. So here we have the mats laid out just on the table, and here we have both of them. Then I'll be using this toothbrush to, in a circular motion, rub the whole mat like that, in a circular motion. This is a soft toothbrush. You can use a harder brush as well, but that might damage your mats. And if you don't have a table to lay it on, just take a trash bag and cut down the two sides, then lay it flat on the floor or wherever, and then put your mats there to wash them, to scrub them, I mean. Now, after this, we'll be rinsing them in clean water and then hanging them up to dry, then spraying our disinfectant on. So let's quickly do this. Let's quickly scrub them. Both of them I'm going to be scrubbing, but yeah, let's quickly do this. This takes about 5 to 10 minutes, so it doesn't take too long. But after this, we'll rinse them, hang them up, and then afterwards we'll just spray our disinfectant on. And I'll show you what brand of disinfectant I use as well. Okay, so I'm about halfway done with this mat, and I have to do this one. Another tip, only wash the front, not the back. You do not want to wash or scrub the back. You can't scrub the back, because the protective coating at the back will come off if you scrub the back. So only the front of both all your mats. This is a reptile mat. You can buy it at most pet shops or stores that specialize in reptiles. This is just a normal mat that I cut up just to put over the heating pad before I had a thermostat, because it was overheating, and this solved my problem. So don't wash the back, only scrub the front like this. I'm about here now, so I'm just gonna have to do this part and then this mat. So let me quickly do that. Okay, so now I'm done with both mats, scrubbed both of them. Let's quickly rinse them off in the same container, just of course different clean water. So it's best to do this outside on the grass. Of course, don't put your mats on the grass. I will show you now what you need to do. Okay, so here I have the mats. I'm just rinsing them off just with the hose. I'm just filling this up with water, and then they're rinsed. You can just hang them up and let them dry. Once they're dry, just spray your disinfectant on and put them in your reptile's enclosure. I'll show you how to do that in a second. Let me just rinse them. I'm just filling this up with normal tap water, and then you don't have to let them soak in this. Just rinse like that. Let me quickly close the tap and just let them rest. You don't need to let them rest. Just hang them up now that they are rinsed. Both of them are in here and both of them are rinsed. So let's quickly hang them up. Okay guys, so there's one last step that I forgot to tell you about. Just take your mat, take your hose. Once it's hanging like this, you can just spray it with water until it's nice and wet, and then it's fine. I've already done this with mine, so I'm just doing a little extra, and then your mats are clean. After they've dried, after this, I'm just taking the hose here, then they are 100% clean. You just need to spray your disinfectant on. Now, a tip to make them dry faster, because they take a while to dry, is squeeze all the water out. Like, take it like this. I'm gonna show you now, and let me just get it. Oh, now I'm wet. I'm wet. You can take it like this. I'm gonna show you now. I'm completely wet, and just squeeze all the extra water out. There's not a lot of extra water, but that will make it dry quicker. And yeah, then you basically just wait for them to dry. Now I'll show you when they're dry. Oh yeah, and guys, guess what I'm doing right after washing these mats and editing and uploading this video? I'm washing more mats. I have 2 more reptile mats that I need to wash for my ball python that are dirty. Then I need to replace the dirty 2 with the clean 2 and wash the 2 that are dirty. So it's a lot of work keeping reptiles. I wouldn't say it's a lot of work. It's just know what you're getting yourself into before you buy a reptile, especially like a bigger snake. A ball python or a corn snake is relatively easy to take care of, but something like a Burmese python or a reticulated python or something like that, it's going to be a lot of work. And you can use substrate as well. I just find the mats easier and cheaper than substrate, so that's why I use them. But what I'm trying to say is, don't buy a reptile thinking it won't be any work just because they eat once a week. It is still a lot of work, that cleaning enclosures and stuff. And sure, if you get something like a boa or something like that, then a big boa, if you feed it to rabbits, you can feed it about once a month and clean its enclosure every week or once a week, and it'll be happy and survive and thrive. But it's still kind of time consuming, so know what you're getting yourself into before you buy reptiles, is what I'm trying to say. And now I'll show you the dry mats. That's gonna take a couple of hours, and I'm quickly gonna mow the lawn, and then after the mats are dry, then I'll show you the dry mats and how to spray your disinfectant on. That's relatively simple. So let me quickly just do that. I'm quickly gonna mow the lawn, then I'll show you the dry mats after a few hours. Okay guys, so here's the mat now that it's dry, and this is the disinfectant I'm using, F10 reptile disinfectant. I feel it is the safest for reptiles. You don't need to add water to it. You can just use it just like this, and even if it gets on the reptile skin and makes direct contact, it won't hurt your reptile. You can actually put this on minor scrapes on reptiles and even on yourself. So yeah, you just want to take about 2 spritz of this, just like that. And I'm gonna do this with the other mat as well, but I realized this video is getting kind of long, so I'm gonna end it here. I hope you have a wonderful night, because it's now night time, and I'll see you in the next video Tuesday.